folks, I'm Tom Vassell. Welcome to Week in Review. This is where we take a look at all the videos and reviews that we did last week and tell you what we think of them. In the description below, we put links to the full reviews, so if you want to learn more about them, you can check there. Let's get started.
Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. So last week I reviewed the expansion to Professor Evil and the Citadel of Time. This is called Architects of Magic. And this is a cooperative game, and the expansion, which I rate a 7 out of 10, gives you a couple of new characters for the players to play and a couple of small variants that you can incorporate. It's actually a fairly, it's a pretty simple expansion to the game. The game's already simple anyway, but you don't get a ton of extra content. Doesn't rewrite the whole thing, which I guess is good on the one hand, but it also feels a little bit slight, and there's a couple of issues with the backs of some tiles not matching with the original game. I rate the original game about a 7. This expansion's good for those people, so it got the same rating for me, and I thought what it added was fun, but slight. The other game I reviewed was The World of Smog, Rise of Moloch. This is a big, epic game, much bigger than the one I was talking about now, but I also rate this a 7 out of 10. And I really like the theme. It's a steampunky game. It's got a lot of cool visual flair to it. But the gameplay itself is campaign-based, which is neat on the one hand, but it very quickly gets a lot of bloats with a lot of little things to keep track of in that story. Lots of little expansion cards, and now you have this one card that gives you one new power, and oh, you're going to forget to use it 16 times. It's got a lot of that. It's better with more players. I wouldn't recommend it with fewer because there's too much to keep track of. And while it's neat, the replayability I thought was a little low. Once you play through that campaign, I just didn't see myself coming back to it. So those are some of the major hits for me. But that's it. Both of them, fun games. And definitely check out those reviews. I'm Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Week in Review. This week I did 2 videos for you. First video was a review of Take the Galaxy, a resource management kind of engine building card game from Catch Time Studio. And it was interesting, enjoyable to an extent, but ultimately I ended up giving it a 5 out of 10 because I felt like it was just kind of a middle-of-the-road game. Didn't really elevate itself above other hand management, engine building card games that are out there, so it was just middle of the road. I didn't dislike it, but at the same time, I think that it's just an okay game. So there you have it. Go check the review out for more details. Also did a top 11 through 20 Kickstarter games. This was an addendum to the top 10 that Z, Tom, and I did together a few weeks ago. So there's that. You can check that out. And you might find some of the games that you were expecting to be on my top 10 for one reason or another. But anyway, check that out. Also did a lot of, live plays and a lot of that kind of stuff that's been out there as well. So we're really kicking out the content. I'm proud of it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. So there you have it. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side.
Okay, so for me, first of all, we have Sonic Hedgehog Crash Course. This is a racing game with Sonic the Hedgehog, and it just wasn't very interesting. Sonic is a fast, speedy game. This is a racing game that's kind of boring, honestly. Then I took a look at the Think Fun Think Putty puzzle. So it's connecting points with putty, and you're stretching them around. The problem is the putty is kind of a pain to work with. I thought it'd be fun to do as a physical thing, and it just isn't. This is an app that already exists, and when I'm putting the app above the actual putty thing, that's problematic. War Room Wars, this is a drafting game for a restaurant. It's okay, you're collecting resources. It's just kind of lucky, right? You're just trying to get the different foods you need to make it. Looks really pretty though. Altitude, this is about building a mountain. The idea is cooler than the game itself. The idea of building the mountain and building peaks and cars on top of each other is really cool. It has almost a solitaire-ish feel to it. A little take that in the game that kind of messes it up for me though from being great. Scuttle. The Scuttle is a lot of fun. This is from Jelly Bean Games. I like it. The problem with Scuttle is it's really fun, but the sequel to Scuttle, which I played first, Ninjitsu, is actually better. They are compatible though, and if you want a little simple take that game with really good components, you'll enjoy it. Vol Proston. I gave this one a 7. This is a kind of a speed game that I said it's for kids, but adults can play it too, where these different totems that are different heights, different numbers, different symbols on each. You roll a die and that tells you which one to grab. But you can also roll other dice that do crazy things, which makes it fun. Go Go Eskimo is a game in which these little children are fishing. You're going around and collecting fish, playing cards and moving along these paths. A very good game with really great components. Showtime is about finding the best seat in a movie theater. So you're moving stuff around, trying to... you're placing cards, trying to put your people in the best seats, but they can also annoy the people behind them and in front of them. A fun little area control game. Venture Angels. This is a small game from Bruno Feduti in which you are investing in things with these poker chips. Really nice components. Well, the poker chips anyway. And you're placing things face down, and you don't want to have too much at a spot because then you'll get nothing, but you want to have enough to win. It's very small. It's a nice little filler game. Kapow. This is a 2 to 4 player, mostly 2, game where you're 2 superheroes fighting each other by rolling dice and customizing dice and adding dice to a dice pool. It's very comic-y. It's silly fun, but I liked it. Madara. Whew, this was a huge game. A big giant dungeon crawl that's probably good for hundreds of hours of play. I did not play hundreds of hours, but I played hours and hours for sure. I really enjoy it. I have some problems, but you can see the review for it. I don't think it's perfect, but there's a lot of really cool ideas in it. And finally, Res Arcana. Gave us an 8.5. This one here is fantastic. Mage versus mage style game. But you're not directly fighting each other. Instead, you are kind of a little engine builder, and you have only a certain amount of cards, and it's going to change every game. And so you're it's a very elegant little system. I really enjoy it. Also, over the course of the week, we did a live play of Silver River, a 4X space game. On Testing Tuesday, we played Quad Heroes and party games and things like that. Our board game breakfast live, of course, on Thursday. And on Back Talk on Friday, we talked about the best-selling games from January. So, a lot of interesting things throughout the week. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Week in Review on the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Bassel. See you next time.